Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastatadeshatane Namo Vishnu Padaya Gaur Prasthaya Bhutale Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Namine Atimarcha Charitraya Swasritanancha Paline Jiva Duke Sadataya Shri Nama Premadayane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Madhuryujjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtai Dinatarine Rupanuga Vidutapa Siddhanta Dvantarine Namo Gaurati Shuraya Sakshat Pairakamurtai Vipralambara Sambodhe Padam Bhujayate Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Surupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virpava Bhumestvam Nirdestat Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarva Bhumasri Jagannatayate Namah Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripre Jayatam Suratur Pambor Mama Manda Matergati Mat Sarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohana Divyad Brindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Sinhasanastu Shri Srimad Srila Govinda Devo Prashtalibi Sedamanosmaran Srimad Rasarasarambi Bamsi Bhattak Tathasita Karshanveyu Swaner Gopir Gopinata Sristunaha Brindai Tulasidagai Priyai Kesavasya Krishna Bhakti Padidevi Sattvatyai Namo Namah Panchatattvatvakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Surupakam Bhattavataram Bhattakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
sing with Guru Tata?
I can. I can. Oh, please.
So sing?
I can.
Which kirtan?
Guru Charana.
Who said that? Yes, can you? Does someone knows Gurudev Kripa Bindudev?
I know.
Good try.
Hare Krishna.
Everybody here, we could back up.
Okay, I'll.
No. Please, Guruji. I can do it.
I'm not so familiar
I can do it. Okay.
another group.
Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Korve Dashi, Trina Peksha Tina.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Koroe Dasi, Trinupeksha Adina.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Korve Dashi, Trina Peksha Tina.
Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Koroe Dasi, Trinupeksha Adina.
Sakala Sahane, Baladiya Karo, Nijamane Spriyahina.
Shakala Sahane, Baladiya Karo, Nijmane Spriyahina.
Sakala Samana, Gaurite Shakati, Dehanata Gata Jata.
Shakale Samman, Karite Shakati, Deonata Jata Jata.
Tabito Gaiba, Harinama Sukhe. Aparada Havehata. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Korve Dashi, Trina Peksha Tina. Kabhi hai no kripa, nabiya hi jana, krita kahai vedanta. Shakti Bhoni Hina, Amiyati Hina. Koro more Atma Sata. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Korve Dashi, Trina Peksha Tina. Yogyata Vichare, Vicharahi Pai, Tamara Karuna Sara.
Vichare, Vichurahi Pai, Tomara Karuna Sara.
Karuna Hare, Hariya Kariya.
Karuna Nahari, Anupekshati Hina
Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva.
Gurudev ki jai. Who will sing Vaishnava Tattva?
Volunteer?
Me sing it? No problem.
Yes, you can sing Vaishnava song. Which one?
They start tonight.
39.
He Vaishnavata Kura Daya Rasadu Idasi Karuna Kuri
Vaishnava Sakura, Ayana Sagara.
Yamara Jaya Suraya Mare Tumara Charana Yori
Jaya Nitai Gunamani Amma Nitai Gunamani Nitai Gunamani Amma Nitai Gunamani Sake kalaya gormudara.
$3.40.
340.
Prem Purushona Masajinanan Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sakhi Kalaya Gauram Udaram Sakhi Kalaya Gauram Udaram Sakhi Kalaya Gauram Udaram Nindita Taka Kanti Kali Varam Nindita Kari Kumara Kumaram Osaki Kalaya Gauram Saki Kalaya Gauram Madhukaran Sita Malati Manandita Cita Ghana Gun Cita Gisham Jila Kavirita Shashadara Ubaka Jila Bhuvana Manohara Visha Bhuvana Manohara Visha Tilakari Osaki Kalaya Gauram Udaram Saki Madhu Madhura Smita
Jai Jai Sundar Nanda Kumar by Sri Rupa Goswami. It's page 344. 344.
बोले वृंदावन में लाल की जय, बरसने वाली की जय, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। जय जय सुंदर नंद कुमार, जय 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 सुंदर नंद कुमार, Surab Sankat Vrindavana Tata, Surab Sankat Vrindavana, Surab Sankat Vrindavana Tata. जय जय सुंदर कुमार। Kumar Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Radhe Sham. Gaur Premanand.
Hari Bol.
Manamapi Sajiputra Atra Surupam Rupam Kasyakraja Muripurim Maturim Voshvatim Radha Kundayamagirivaram Ahuradika Madhuvasam Rapto Yasa Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tam Natosmi Kuravai Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadare Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Anandalilamaya Vigrahaya Hemabhadvyacchavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahapremarasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vina Aparada Lakshmi Chilpastika Haritoram Pamati Kripa Mahitvam Sharanam Prapanna Pringi Namaste Charanara Vindram Pringi Namaste Charanara Vindram Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Everyone. Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Shyam Sundar Skandashika Smarahas Murali Manana Radhikar Sakamama Kripanite Supriyacharna King Kurim Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Tayavana Jivikyaya Devi Tam Amam Charantikam. First to for my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadev Paramarata Tama Guru Pada Padma, Nitilila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada, Ashtodara Sata Sri Rupa Nugacharivaya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupa Nuga Gaudia Guru Parampara. Finally, I offer my pranam to all the Sangha Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vanchakalpatarasya Vaishnava.
Haribo.
Krishna Mohan Prabhu ki. So by the consciousness of Sri Guru Gauranga, many Vaishnavas throughout the world, they have begun to celebrate the 150th appearance anniversary of our Jagat Guru Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I think next week also you will have a festival for him, right? So yesterday we began to discuss some of this, the jewels in this very beautiful lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave on the 11th of August in 1929 in the Albert Hall in Calcutta. So on this day actually, when Srila Prabhupada was invited to speak, he gave his Mangalacharanam pranam to his Gurudev, and before speaking, he established the Sabhapati. If there's a religious assembly, Dharma Sabha, religious assembly, Dharma Sabha, then there should be a Sabhapati. That means the chairman, who is overseeing and directing, conducting the proceeds of that assembly. In fact, in Vedic culture and in Indian culture, people know that you cannot have a sabha without a vriddha, right? Vriddha means an elderly person who is very learned and experienced, very senior person. They should preside over it. Otherwise, if lots of young people get together, it will be like a democracy in chaos. The sanctity of the atmosphere will not manifest unless all come under the anugatya, under the guidance of a senior personality. This is Vedic culture. So Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he pointed, there was one very big, luxurious chair in that assembly. And he said, today I am inviting my Guru Pada Padma, Nittilila Pavishtom Vishnupad Akshtotarasta Sri Gokishore Prabhupada, to please kindly come and take his seat here and be the Sabhapati in this assembly. So then he said, you may not be able to see, but the Satshishya, the bona fide disciple, always understands that when he will speak, that he is speaking only for the pleasure of his Gurudev, and only that he is a buddhi vritti. Prabhupada prayed, I pray that my buddhi vritti, that means all the movements of my intelligence this evening, by which this katha, this discussion is coming, it should be the prerita, Guru Pada Padma prerita, directly inspired by Guru Pada Padma. May my Gurudev be the niyamak, that may he completely regulate all my thoughts and guide me to speak exactly in accordance with his desires. So Prabhupada himself, by his own example, he's showing, it's a performative, he's showing the real meaning of the Sat Shishya and Sadguru, the bona fide disciple and bona fide Guru. Sat means eternal. Sri Guru does not die. Only Sri Guru is eternal and part of the Nitya love, Sri Radha and Krishna. And sometimes that Guru becomes Prakat. before our eyes and sometimes becomes uppercut. But like the Supreme Lord, He is also Sarvavyapi, everywhere, and seeing everything, outwardly and inwardly. The disciple should never forget this. Not even for 1 second. So, Srila Prabhupada said that my Gurudev, who is now sitting here, Srila Gokishore Prabhupada, he called him. He would not introduce himself as a Gaudia. Why? First of all, Gaudia, people think that, who are you? I am a Gaudia. That means I am from Bengal. So he would not introduce himself as being the resident of any place within time and space. Because see, Guru is aprakrita, he's transcendental. So why would he give some identity, a designation related to the mundane physical plane? So he would not use Gaudia in this sense. And he knew that, who are the Gaudias? In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there it is mentioned. 18 Thakur Gaudyaki Karyachin Atmasat, 18 Charna Bandho Tinimoranat. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad said that these three Thakurs, these three deities, Govinda, Gopinath, Madan Mohan, or we should say Madan Mohan, Krishna as the Adhistatri Devata of Sambandha Gyan, relationship. And then Krishna Govinda Dev, in the form of Govinda Dev, the predominating deity of the process of bhakti. And finally Gopinath, see Krishna, the Lord of the gopis, the predominating deity of the Prayojan Tattva, Prem, Prayojan. This Prem is the goal of life. So, these three deities have manifested in Vrindavan, and those persons whom those deities have assimilated, they have incorporated into their indivisible, non-dual reality, into their eternal pastimes. Those personalities are non-different from Madan Mohan, Govinda, Gopinath. So those persons can be called Gaudiya. 18 Thakur Gaudiyaki Karyachin Atmasat. Atmasat means when someone becomes Atmasat, then it means, oh, I am not independent from you. I am fully dependent upon you. I belong to you. My senses only exist to please you. My heart and your heart are one. Then that person has become Atmasat. So those persons whom Govinda, Gopinath and Madan Mohan have accepted and made one with themselves as their associates, those persons can be called Gaudiya. So a Gaudiya is and has uncommon divine characteristics that can never be seen in an ordinary human being. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he said, my Gurudev, knowing all of these things, he used to say out of humility, he would introduce himself not as a Gaudiya, but as Gaudiya Vaishnav Das Anudas Anudas, the servant of the Gaudiyas. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he said, my Gurudev is a Nitya, Sadguru, eternal Guru. He is not a Karmi, not a Jnani, and not a Yogi. Why? Because the activities of karma, they are temporary. We have no permanent relationship with the activities of karma. So the Guru who teaches us karma, he is teaching us some karma so that we can do that. Then we leave him and we go to heaven. Go to Swargaloka and enjoy there. leaving his service to enjoy in heaven. The Jnani. If someone has a guru who's a Jnani, then from that guru they're learning how to get mukti, liberation. So what will they do in the nirvana, in moksha? It is impersonal. There are no characteristics there. It's nirvishesh. So that person who is serving a guru is a Jnani. It's part of his plan to give him up. So he's a guru tyagi. He has a guru, but this is only in name. He's using his guru in a business transaction, and when he gets liberation, he'll give him up and stop serving him. So he will not be the Sadguru, eternal guru. Yogis also, they realize Paramatma and then they want to merge in with the Paramatma. And then they'll leave the service of their yogi guru. So all those who are really gurus of karma, jnana and yoga, they are not actually gurus in the true sense of the word. Because they are not eternal. And what is not eternal is not real. It is part of illusion. How can guru be part of illusion? That is not guru. Guru means the andhakar, darkness of material illusion, material attachments. Samsarik asakti. Gu means samsarik asakti, attachment to this material world, which is like a darkness. And Ru means nivritta. He who takes away the darkness of attachment to this material world by introducing the light of eternal Krishna Prem is called Guru. So, the Sadguru, he is not a karmi, he is not a part of this material world. He is in the Vidvat Sampradaya. Vidvat Sampradaya. Prabhupada explains there are two types of traditions. One is the Adhyakshik Sampradaya. Adhyakshik means the Sampradaya which is based on sense perception. So in this world there are many traditions and cultures which are passed down one after another, but they're all based on the perception of the senses of the physical world. So they are empirical traditions, like modern science is an empirical tradition. They are Adhyakshik Sampradaya. And then there's the Vidvat Sampradaya. Vidvat Sampradaya means the tradition of those whose perception is beyond matter. They have transcendental anubhav, realization of the divine realm. So, how does this Vidvat Sampradaya go on? It goes on through Sruti. Sruti. What does this word Sruti mean? Sruti means this. The Sadguru, when he is speaking Harikatha, then this Harikatha is called the Sanjivani Dhara. It is a life-giving current. Sanjivani. Just like this one herb, called Sanjivani. If someone is dying, if you give them this herb, they'll come to life. So there is one current called Sanjivani Dhara. The souls who are in this world of birth and death, they're in like a comatose position, completely in ignorance. If someone is touched by this Sanjivani Dhara, the soul comes alive. So that Harikatha, which is spoken by the Guru, which is a Sanjivani Dhara, it is also the Vastava Satya Shuddha. Vastava Satya Shuddha. Vastava Satya means the eternal truth, and Sudha means nectar. Their katar is filled with the nectar of eternal truth. And that Guru will speak with Avimishra Bhav. That means his mood is not mixed with any personal motivation. He is speaking out of pure love for Krishna and affection for the disciple who is serving. So when the pure Vaishnava, he speaks the Sanjivani Dhara, the life-giving current of the Vastav Sattva Suddha, the nectar of eternal reality, with Avimishra Bhav, with his mood not mixed with anything material at all, completely pure. And there's a disciple who is a Seva Snigdha Sisya. The Sisya, the disciple who is Seva Snigdha. He's always serving and he's very soft and affectionate. He's not prickly. He's not rough in the dealing, but completely smooth and completely pliable and completely compliant to every word and every desire of his Guru. He is called the Snigdha Seva Shishya. So when he listens to this Sanjeevani Dhara, then it enters into his Vishuddha Hridaya Akash, into the pure sky of his heart. And it enters into the pure sky of his heart through his ears, which are like Anjali, just like a beggar. As a beggar is taking his hands like this. So the disciple is putting his hands together and begging for the mercy of Guru, but not hands, ears. His ears are like that. And they're catching the current from the heart of Shri Guru, and then it goes into his Vishuddha Hridaya Akash, pure sky of the heart, and then that Jyotiti Pratita, immediately there is a vision. What Gurudev is realizing, now the disciple realizes it. Sri Krishna is seeing the beautiful form of Kunj Bihari Sri Krishna and his loving pastimes with the gopis of Vrindavan, and disciples hearing, and that very beautiful bank of the river Jamuna where Sri Krishna is playing with his associates, manifesting the heart of the disciple. So that is called Sruti. That is the definition of Sruti. So two ways of attaining knowledge. Some persons are investigating through their senses and then teaching it to the others. That is called the Adyakshik Sampradaya. And then there is the Vidvat Sampradaya, where the divine realization from the heart of Guru, through Shabda Brahma, through sound, through the spoke Dharma, the power of sound to manifest itself in the heart of the disciple. So this is called Sruti. And the Parampara, which is consisting of the pure flow from Guru's heart to disciple's heart, and then from his heart to his disciple's heart. This is called the Srota Parampara. Srota Parampara. And that Srota Parampara is Sat Sampradaya, eternal Sampradaya. Someone may imitate, may pretend, but it will not be the Srota Parampara. Only making a show like a drama. The Guru is only acting, disciple is not surrendered, then transcendental knowledge will not come. So Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur was describing the power and the glories of Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj, how the transcendental knowledge is descending through him. And of course, he's not saying himself, but it came to Srila Prabhupada, and he's giving also to the audience, those who are surrendered and sincere. So Srila Prabhupada, he spoke about Gaudiyas. Who are Gaudiyas? When the transcendental sound comes in the heart of the disciple and he realizes that is called he's experienced Vidvat Ruddhi Britti. Vidvat Ruddhi. The Vidvat Ruddhi Britti gives Advaya Gyan, non-dual consciousness. It gives direct perception of the truth. Why? Because in Sadharan Ruddhi Britti and Agya Ruddhi Britti, in the ordinary meaning of words, the word and the object defined by the word are different. But in Vidvat Ruddhi Britti, the word and that which is signified, the signifier and the signified, the reference and the referent, the name and the name, Nam and Nami, Abhinatvam Nama Namino. Right? It is said in the Upanishads, in the Puranas. Atash Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinatvam Nama Namino. The name and the name, the word and the object. They are abhinatvam, they are non-different, completely non-different from each other. So that is the Vidvat Ruddhi Vritti. Now, we began the subject yesterday of what is the Gaudia Mat. The word Mat means Matanti Vasanti Chatraha Yasmin Iti Mata. The place where students reside to study is called the Mat. So the Gaudiya Mat is meant to be the place of transcendental education. It is a supernatural university. This is the first thing, Gaudiya Mat. And then, Gaudiya means, as we have described, those who have been accepted into the Leela of Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan. So Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he gave a very beautiful definition of the Gaudiya Mat. He said, in the world which is filled with the Agyarudhi Britti of sound. Everywhere sound is going on. Everyone speaking. But most people, they have no consciousness of God at all. So in that world which is filled with the Agyarudhi Britti of sound, the Gaudiya Mat is the sacred place of the descendants of the Vidvat Ruddhi, meaning of words. This is the speciality of the Gaudiya Mat. And this is why, as we discussed yesterday, Prabhupada, he was part of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Navadip Dham Pracharini Sabha. But when the many persons there, they began to misunderstand Bhakti and study the Shastra, but like in an empirical way. So then Prabhupada, he left and established the Gaudiya Mat because there was the Agyarudhi Britti, the general ignorant worldly meaning of sound. And the Gaudiya Mat is the place of the sacred descent of the Vidvat Ruddhi of sound. So what is that Vidvat Ruddhi? In Vidvat Ruddhi, when we hear, there is a direct experience of the absolute truth. So in Vidvat Ruddhi, every word is a name of Krishna. And this is the conclusion of Vedanta Sutra. You know, in Vedanta Sutra, it is said, Chara charau vyapasrayastu syat tad vyapadeshod bhaktas tad bhava bhavitvat. The meaning is, because the Supreme Lord is the cause of everything, and everything is the transformation of His energy. Therefore, everything in this universe is actually different aspects of the Lord. It's a Vishwarup, it's the universal form. You know, in chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna saw, oh Krishna, you are everything. Krishna, yes. Bahunam janmanamante gyanavam mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, one who's actually in full knowledge surrenders to me because he realized, Krishna, you are everything. This is the first teaching of the Chatusloki Bhagavatam. You know, the whole Bhagavatam was given in 4 verses. Aham meva sameva grei nanyadyad sadasad param paschadaham yadetatscha yo vishisyeta sosmyaham. Do you know? Krishna said to Brahma in the beginning of the creation, Oh Brahma, before this world of cause and effect was manifested, only I existed. And after the universe is destroyed, only I exist. And in the middle, only I exist. Yes. That's the cat. We are thinking, yes. Before the creation there was just God. After the creation there's just God. But in the middle there are so many things. Right? That is called Dvaita, duality. But the reality, that duality is in our mind. This is not outside. Really, the truth is what? Advaita, non-duality. It cannot be realized while we're in our ordinary waking state, dreaming state, or sleeping state. When can we realize the non-duality of reality? When? In Sampragyata Samadhi. When we go in Samadhi, Sampragyata Samadhi, in trance, then we can understand. Why are we singing so many bhajans before the class? Praying First Mangala Charnam, then singing to Gurudev, singing to Vaishnavas, glorifying Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna, Mahamantra. What are we doing? This is not entertainment, musical entertainment. No, you thought it was, no. The purpose of singing the kirtan is to go into the sampragyata samadhi, into trance. That the mind becomes very steady and our consciousness becomes dislocated from the identification with ahankar. And in that state, then we can experience the truth. So that is the sambandha gyan. Until someone is established in sambandha gyan, they have the experience, the non-dual experience. Then they cannot actually take up the abhidheya, the real practice of bhakti. The practice that we do before we are established in this consciousness of sambandha gyan, it is bhakti abhas. It's only a semblance of bhakti. But when we come in the stage of ekagrata, sampragyata samadhi, that is from nishtha. Come to nishtha, firm faith, and fully surrender, then that is the doorway into the experience of bhakti. Then that devotee is hearing the vidvakriti vritti of words. So this sutra of Vedanta Sutra is describing that. Chataro vyapasrastu syat tad vyapadesho bhaktas bhava bhavitvat. Because the Supreme Lord is the self-existent foundation of all moving and non-moving forms in the world. Therefore, every word that we speak is actually primarily a name for Him in His various forms, and only secondarily referring to the objects as we conventionally conceive of them in ordinary life. That bhaktas bhavitvat. Bhavitvat means, but that will be understood in the future. As one goes on hearing and one is purified, then he will understand that fact. So, but that is real sambandha gyan, that is real diksha. So Vedanta Sutra is saying every word is a name of God. But in our conditioned state we cannot hear it. Ear is materially covered. But what happened to Nimai Pandit? When Nimai Pandit went to Gaya to offer pinda to his deceased father Jagannath Mishra, there, unexpectedly, he met with Srila Ishwara Puripad. Prabhu kahe Tirtha yatra safalayama yatakshana dakailam charne toma. He said, oh, Ishwara Puripad, Gurudev, now my Tirtha yatra, my visit to the holy place is a success. It became a success the moment I saw your lotus feet. And Nimai Pandit took shelter of Srila Ishwara Puripad and Krishna mantra hoite abe samsara mochan. Krishna nama hoite pabe Sri Krishna charan. And Srila Ishwara Puripad gave him Gopal mantra and established him in Sambandha Gyan and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by which he could realize direct service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So then when Nimai Pandit came back to Navadvip, he was no longer Nimai the Pandit. He was Pandit, but everyone knew him as Rasik Nimai, Bhavuk Nimai, always absorbed in the nectar of love for Krishna. So when he came back to Navadvip, he went to his teacher Gangadas Pandit, from whom he had studied Vyakara and Sanskrit and logic and so on. And Mahaprabhu, just close by, he had his own school, and because he was senior, and he had his own students there. So he came to Gangadas Pandit, and Gangadas Pandit said, oh, you have just returned from your long journey, so today you should not open your books, don't study, don't teach today. Even if Lord Brahma will come and tell you to open your book, don't open your books today. But tomorrow you should come back and you can continue teaching in the school, in the Sanskrit hall. So then the next day, Nimai Pandit came and he sat down with all of his students, and they took their palm leaf manuscripts, and before the class they sit there and then they all open the book at the same time and say, Hari! As they open the book. Everyone, get your book ready. 1, 2, 3. Hari! If you don't say Hari, how will your study be successful? Hari Nam makes everything successful. But when all the students said Hari, Then hearing the sound of Krishna's name, then Nimai Pandit went into trance. They asked him, oh, can you tell us what is the meaning of Dhatu, verbal roots? He said, Dhatu means the essence. And the essence of everything is Krishna. Can you tell us what is Varnashram Dharma? Oh, Chatur Varnam Maya Sristam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Oh, Krishna has made the Varnashram Dharma. Only that all should serve him. Krishna is your mother, he is your father, he is your pranadhan. Krishna is your everything. Only by the sound of his name, no, the abbas of his name, Ajame went to Vaikuntha. And he was glorifying the holy name of Krishna everywhere. And every question they asked, he answered Krishna. Every letter refers to Krishna. Every grammatical case refers to Krishna. Every conjugation of the verbs, it all refers to Krishna. And in the end, when his bhav came down, he said, oh, what was I saying? Did you understand anything? The student said, no, we couldn't understand anything. So then Mahaprabhu said, I'm sorry, I cannot teach you this syllabus anymore. You should go and find another teacher. But they said, oh, we don't want another teacher. They were so attached to him. You just will learn whatever you want to teach us. So then Mahaprabhu said, everyone clap your hands and chant, Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Srimadhusudan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But Mahaprabhu was having this experience because his ear was pierced, the Karnabhed Sanskar, by Diksha, by his guru. Now he was hearing the actual meaning of all sounds. That everything refers to Sri Krishna. That is called Vidvat Rudibriti. So the Gaudia Mat is the place of the descent of the sacred meanings of words, the Vidvat Rudi meaning of words. This is Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's own definition of the Gaudia Mat. Very important. So, Srila Jiva Goswami has written a grammar, Sri Harinama Rita Vyakaranam. And in that grammar, he has shown how every grammatical rule in Sanskrit refers to Krishna and the pastimes of Krishna. Now, the speciality of receiving knowledge in this way through Shabda Brahma is that it is not within your power to get the knowledge by your own strength. In the Srota Parampara, we completely depend on the mercy coming down to us. And that is why this path is called Avroha Panta. There are two types of path. One is called Aroha, that means the ascending process, Aroha Panta. And one is the Avroha Panta. So Prabhupada explains that if someone is following the path of Gyan, by which they want to realize Brahman, then they are trying through their Gyan sadhana to realize Brahman, but this is Aroha Panta, based on their own efforts. If someone is trying to realize Paramatma by the practice of the yoga system, then they're also doing pranayama mechanically and trying to elevate themselves. So the Arohavad, the theory of self-elevationism, is there in these paths. Only bhakti is not the process of self-elevationism, Arohavad, but bhakti is Avarohavad. It is a descending process. We have to put ourselves into the receiving posture and receive mercy from Guru through the ear. So only bhakti is the Avaroha Panta. Bhagavan Sri Krishna cannot be realized on the strength of our own merit. So there are many examples. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of Ravan. Ravan is a demon. So he thought, it's very difficult doing all these yagyas. How would the common people go to heaven? I'll build a staircase. I'll build a stone path going up to heaven, and all the people can just walk to heaven. They won't have to do all these vrats and yagyas and austerities. But when the demons, they began to pile up the stones to make the steps, In the high level, there was no support there and everything fell down. So, this is an analogy for all souls who are on the material path. Anytime you try to elevate yourself, self-elevationism, by using the senses, by using your mind and using your intelligence, at first you'll be like those demons, very enthusiastic. Oh, we made so many steps. And you feel like you're making progress and progress. But where does it lead to? It will lead to only, after some time, a state of puzzlement, confusion. And one will realize that all the endeavor was an illusion. And one will come crashing down, and there was no gain. There was the only thing that you gained by the hard work was your own perspiration. Hard work, that's all. So all without bhakti, the jnanis, they can't realize Brahman. They fall down. The yogis, they can't realize Paramatma. They all fall down. Aruya Krishtena Parampatam Tada Patantida Nadita Yushmadangraya. Because they've failed to give respect to the lotus feet of Krishna by engaging in bhakti, everything collapses. So the Aroha Panta is always like that. You are filled with optimism about the prospects of success. And as you get closer and closer to your goal, you feel more enthusiasm. But then as you get closer, then you find that everything evaporates and falls apart. And one ends in a state of puzzlement. So only the path of bhakti gives success. Another example of the Aroha Panta is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Who? Gajendra. Gajendra the elephant. He was very powerful and living in the heavenly planets with so many female elephants. He was enjoying sense gratification and playing in the water of a lake. But what happened? One crocodile came and bit his leg and began to pull him into the water. So Gajendra was trying to get out of the water because the elephant is stronger on the land. And the crocodile was trying to pull the elephant into the water because the crocodile is stronger in the water. So there was a tremendous tug of war. And it went on for hundreds of years in the heavenly planets. Backwards and forwards. Slowly, 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 Gajendra, he began to lose his energy. And then when he had no more energy, and he was being pulled into the water, and he knew, this is the end. I cannot go on. There is no chance. Now everything is finished. Everything is lost. Then he surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Oh my Lord, I am your eternal servant. Please accept me. And when he surrendered, then Supreme Lord appeared. Lord Narayan riding on the back of Gurud. And then Gajendra saw a lotus flower, and with his trunk he grabbed the lotus flower just when he was about to disappear underneath the water, and he held it up. Eisha Pushpanjali Om Narayana Namaha. And he offered the flower to Lord Narayan. So then Lord Narayan came and with the Sudarshan chakra, he cut that crocodile and also liberated that Gajendra, who was actually a devotee in his previous life who made an offense, and because of that offense he became bound by the reactions of his offenses in the body of Gajendra, one Indrajumna Maharaj. So, Srila Prabhupada gives this as the example of this is our situation. Be very careful. Because in this material world, everyone is on the Aroha Panta. Everyone is self-elevationists in their mentality. That means they have kartritra abhiman. I am the doer. I am the agent. This ego is there. I can do this bhakti. So we come just as a person would pursue a material activity, a material art or project or intellectual study. We come with the same mood into devotional life. No, this isn't going to work. And what will happen is you'll find that you cannot control your mind, you cannot control your senses, you cannot come up to the standard of bhakti, trying again and again. Why? Because it is being instigated from the platform of ego. Kartritra abhinam. We're bringing the mentality of the arohavad, self-elevationism into the devotional practice. A devotee takes a book, I am going to study this book. I will master this book. Yeah? This is not bhakti, this is karma. Anything coming from the ego, kartata abhiman, is a karma. He's not doing bhakti. Mahat kripa binu kaun kama bhakti nai. Krishna bhakti dura rao samsara nahishai. Without the mercy of a pure devotee, any activity that you do is never bhakti, it is only karma. And one will not even be able to get free from anarthas, free from the bondage. What is anartha? Anartha means the Chaitanya Dharma Avarnamayi Vritti. We have many vrittis, many movements of pran in our chitta, in our conscious and subconscious mind. So those vrittis which cover our spiritual identity, our Chaitanya Dharma, that we eternal, transcendental beings, part and parcel of God. The vrittis which cover that identity, they call the Chaitanya Dharma Avarnamayi Vritti. And so they are of different types, but that is the metaphysical explanation of anartha. So these anarthas, they're covering our spiritual nature. So we can practice bhakti in a way which everything we're doing is just all covered with anartha. So we don't want to do this. But what will happen? If you do this again and again for a long time, you gradually become exhausted, like Gajendra the elephant, and realize, I am finished. I am helpless. I cannot do anything. Then, Sarvadharman Prajaja Mamekam Shanam Praja. Only when we become Niskinchana Kinchan. Who is Niskinchana Kinchan? Means who has nothing in this world. That means that all faith in our own power, all faith in our own merits, all our own pride and confidence, which is false and invested in these material coverings of the body and mind, that we become exhausted and give it up. And the essence of ourself, who we are, Atmanivedan, we surrender at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, oh my Lord. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. Oh Mahaprabhu, please be merciful to me. And cry from the core of the heart. But when Ahankar is there, say, yeah, Mahaprabhu, I'm singing this song. Do you think, please give me mercy? I sing it so well, it's a good song. You can give me your mercy tomorrow, the next day. I don't need it now because I'm doing pretty good. Huh? So this is not bhakti, this is not bhajan. Understand? So Prabhupada Bhakti-Saraswati Thakur is making the discrimination here, coming to the point. He's so merciful. Bhakti is not the Arohapanta. We are not Arohavadis, the self-elevationists, that we can know by our own power, intelligence and study. We are following the Avarohapanta of Bhakti, where we surrender to Guru. And then the Shabda Brahma comes and realization is by spurti, sprouts in the heart by the mercy of Sri Guru. Very, very beautiful. Because see Krishna, his Leela is going on. Here in this Gaudia Darshan, Prabhupada Srila Bhakti-Saraswati Thakur said, there's a very big difference between karma and the Leela. But when we are covered with anartha, we think that, ordinary people, they're doing karma, and Krishna, he's God, but really his activities are like a type of karma. Because the material mind cannot conceive of what is the Advai Gyan, the non-dual realm of Leela. And only a person in trance can experience it. So, what's the difference between karma and Leela? First of all, karma is anitya, it is temporary. But Leela is nitya, it is eternal. Secondly, karma takes place within the 14 planetary systems. Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok, Satyalok, and then the Atal, Sutal, Rasatal, Patal, the higher and lower planetary systems within the Brahmanda, within the 14 planetary systems, the activities which are going on there, which have as their basis the gross physical body and the subtle mind, intelligence and ego and chitta of the conditioned souls. When the body and mind is the basis of the activity, then that is a karma in this world. And this karma is of the nature of tasting tapatrai, threefold miseries. And in that tasting of threefold miseries, the living entity has no options. He must taste them. He's forced to taste them by the unfolding of his own karma, his own destiny. It is unavoidable. So it is bandhan, it is bondage. So that is completely different from Leela. Leela is eternal. It is beyond the 14 planetary systems. There is no bondage there. There is no connection with the gross or subtle body, because every soul has a Satchidananda, eternal spiritual form. There is no karmic reaction there. Everything is just an Anandamoy rasa. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavitha visthabi ya eva nija rupataya kalavi goloka eva nikilat kilat mabuta govindava adi purusham tamaham bhajavi. Ananda chinmaya rasa, completely free and completely full of joy. Here is anitya, achit. There is Satchit Ananda, and here is Asat, Achit and Nirananda. Temporary, unconscious, and no joy, suffering. So there's a huge difference between karma and Leela. This Leela of Sri Krishna is also Atindriya. Atindriya. It is beyond the range of our sensory perception. And it is also Avichintya. It is beyond the range of our conceptuality as well. So that is Leela. How can we access that Leela? If you consider the difference between karma and Leela, then you'll just immediately know, I cannot access it. There's no way. By my own power. Then we must take to the path of bhakti and be under the guidance of Sri Guru and receive that divine reality through the Srautapanta, through the hearing process. So, this divine Leela is of three types: Aishwarya, Madhurya, and Audarya. Aishwarya means when the Supreme Lord is manifesting is Ishwarata. He is the controller of everything. And his activities surpass the limitations of any human being or demigod. This is Aishwarya. Madhurya means whether Aishwarya is present or not, the behavior and the mood of the Lord does not transgress the human-like behavior. So it's Naravatlila. That is Madhurya. Very, very sweet. And so in Vaikuntha, there's the predominance of Aishwarya. And in Golok Vrindavan, there is Aishwarya is there, more than Vaikuntha even. But there's so much Madhurya, sweetness there, that no one notices it. So Madhurya is higher than Aishwarya. You know, this is a big misunderstanding. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to South India. He met with Venkata who was an Acharya in the Sri Sampradaya. So in the Sri Sampradaya, they think Lord Narayan is supreme because he's full of Aishwarya. And Krishna is the expansion of Lord Narayan because his pastimes, they don't have so much opulence. But the truth of the matter is this, that Aishwarya Leela serves the Madhurya Leela. But the Madhurya does not serve the Aishwarya. Right? In Vaikuntha there's opulence, but you don't see Madhurya coming there and making some human-like pastime. But in the Madhurya Leela, Krishna is playing like an ordinary boy, and the Aishwarya will come. He can lift Govardhan hill on his little finger for 7 days. Yeah? He does. The Aishwarya will come. Mother Yashoda said, "Hey, have you been eating dirt?" Krishna said, "No, I have not eaten dirt." Naham bhakshitavam amba sarva mitya dishamshinaha. Oh, mother, I have not eaten dirt. They're all telling lies. But he said, "Let me look in your mouth." Then Krishna opened his mouth. He was so afraid. He said, "Now my mother will slap my face and twist my ear. I'll be in big trouble." What happened? Aishwarya Shakti thought, now I have a chance to do some seva. And when Krishna opened his mouth, then Aishwarya Shakti came and showed all the universe. And Mother Yashoda became bewildered and she forgot about giving him a punishment. So, oh, what is this? Am I dreaming? Am I hallucinating? Did someone do some kala jadoo, black magic on my boy? Or I have to protect him. And she had so much, her parental affection for him was increased. So we see that Madhurya never serves Aishwarya, but Aishwarya is the servant of Madhurya, so the Madhurya Leela is highest. So don't follow the Sri Sampradaya to Vaikuntha thinking that Lord Narayan is Narayana's tu Bhagavan Swayam. No, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is supreme. All other forms have come from him. So the Madhurya is the highest. Now the question comes, what is Audarya Leela? That is Gaura Leela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Audarya means the indiscriminate and complete distribution of Madhurya, which is Aishwarya Gandhahin, without a smell of Aishwarya. That is the Audarya. So this is the relationship between Aishwarya, Madhurya and Audarya. Opulence, sweetness, and Audarya means udar, being very liberal, very compassionate, munificent, very merciful. So Mahaprabhu's Leela is Audarya Leela. Navadip Dham is the Audarya Dham. It is the place where there is the indiscriminate and complete distribution of Madhurya, which is not touched by a scent of Aishwarya Bhav. So the predominating Supreme Lord of the Audarya Dham is Mahaprabhu. He is Gaudia Nath. And those are the followers of Mahaprabhu, they are Gaudiyas. Right? Because this whole Katha is discussing what does Gaudia, Darshan mean. Gaudia, what does Gaudia mean? And what is Darshan? How do we see the absolute truth? So, Srila Prabhupada, he said, there's such a thing as Gaudia, Agaudia, Gaudia Bruva, and Vidya Gaudia. Agaudia means those who are not Gaudiyas. They don't follow the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at all. Then they say, we are not Gaudiya, we are the followers of Shankaracharya or any other philosophy, Karma, Gyan, Yoga and so on. They are Gaudiya. Then there is the Gaudiya Bruva. Bruva means those who say, I am Gaudiya. They wear a tilak, they wear the kantimala, they do kirtan, but really they're not following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in their heart. They have anyabhilash, they have other desires. They don't practice in their life, it's only for show. That's called Gaudiya Bruva. And then there's Vidya Gaudiya. The Vidya means corrupted Gaudiya. So that means the persons who they're doing. It looks they're doing a very strong sadhana, practice. If anyone will look, they'll think, oh, yes, he's a very serious Gaudiya Vaishnava. And really, they are serious about what they're doing. But they don't understand Vidvat Ruddhi Vritti, the actual meaning of words and the actual standard of bhakti. That Shravanam, hearing implies seeing. Chanting implies seeing. Remembering implies seeing. How does that seeing take place? You know that in your subtle body, there are 4 components. Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar and Chitta. These are the subtle elements. Before the creation, there was only the Prakriti, unmanifest potential material energy. When the Supreme Lord glanced towards Maya, then he is the Shakti is in that glance. That is called Kal Shakti, time. And the Kal, time, agitates the 3 gunas which were in balance and breaks the equilibrium of the gunas which are there in Prakriti. So when the balance of the gunas breaks, then from the unmanifest Prakriti comes the first element. The first element is very sattvic. It is very bright, very light, very responsive. It is niskriya. It doesn't have its own movements. So that first element is called Mahatattva. Right? Mahatattva. when the element Mahatattva is in the universe, it's called Mahatattva. But one portion of that element is there in your Shukshma Sharira, your subtle body. So when that Mahatattva is in your subtle body, at that time it is called Chitta. It is called Chitta. Now that Chitta is very sattvic, very bright, very light, niskriya, not moving. But when Rajas appears, then it condenses, it grossifies, and becomes in the universe what is called Sutra Tattva. Sutra Tattva. So that Sutra Tattva in your Chitta, when your Chitta condenses by Rajagun, is called Pran. The Sutra Tattva in the universe is the Mukhya Pran, the chief Pran of the universe, which organizes everything. And in your mind and body, that which moves everything, which organizes everything, is your Pran. It's called Sutra because it's in threads. It moves in like fine threads through channels throughout the body. They're called the nadis, you know. You have Shushumna Nadi from the Mooladhara Chakra to the Sahasrara Chakra. Then you have the Ida and Pingala, the two main, the sun and moon, the nadis, and then you have 72,000 nadis going all over the body, and the Pran is moving through all these nadis, 72,000 nadis, and that is organizing your whole nervous system and all the activities of the body. This is why when the Pran leaves, what happens? Body is there, all the chemicals are there, all the elements are there, but they're not organized anymore. Everything just breaks, disorganization, disintegration. So what is integrating and what is organizing everything is Pran. When the Pran leaves, the body implodes. So, first Chitta, then Pran, then when Tamagun, when that element of Mahatattva condenses more due to the touch of Tamagun, then it makes Ahankar, the ego. And from the ego, the more sattvic portion of the ego is Manas, and the more rajatic portion is Buddhi and Indriya, the senses. So in this way, our subtle body is manifest as the gradual condensation or the grossification of a Chitta. So when a person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chaito Darpanamarjanam, your Chitta is like a mirror. But this mirror is covered with contamination of what? Ahankar, Manas, Buddhi. All these things are the contaminated Chitta. So by chanting, it reverses the evolution of the elements and the Chitta becomes exposed and clear and shining like a mirror. So it is said, the Chitta has a quality, Swachatvam Avikaritvam Shantatvam iti Chaitasa. Swachatvam means clarity, means Bhagavad Bimba Grahitvam. The Chitta has the power to catch the reflection of the Supreme Lord. So this is why Mahaprabhu says, Chaito Darpanamarjanam. By chanting, all the turbulence, all the oscillation of your mind dies down, the tamas and rajas goes away, ego and material intelligence, Chitta becomes exposed, and in that clear Chitta, there is reflection of Supreme Lord. That is the beginning of Darshan. That is the beginning of Darshan. The beginning of the vision. So the Chitta has been called by Sridhar Swami in his Bharvakta Deepika. There he said, Chitta is the Upasana Pitam. It is the place of service. Because we hear that advanced devotees, they're chanting Harinam and serving Krishna in their mind. So that doesn't mean that that mind which is actually come out of your false ego, which is contaminated by tamas and rajas, is trying to speculate and make some imaginary service to Krishna. That's not upasana. In fact, Narad Muni, he says to Yudhishthira Maharaj, Sadat Swanana Bhurtartho Nas Prastum Nama Nas Prastamahati. You should know that your mind cannot touch anything which you have not experienced. In other words, your mind can only imagine things which you have experienced before. What you have experienced before makes a sanskar impression, and you can dig up these impressions, you can put them together in new ways. But the mind cannot touch anything which was not experienced directly. So when a person is speculating, I am serving Krishna in your mind, They are speculating. They are taking the mind and intelligence which has come from the tamasic ego and then only making some kind of collage, some kind of montage out of their own material experiences. You understand? So when it is said upasana, manasik upasana, mantramaya upasana, swarasik upasana, the upasana pitam is chitta. When the mind, intelligence and ego have been dissolved and the chitta is exposed, then the Supreme Lord reflects there and you serve Him. So upasana, the internal service, is actual service to Krishna, which is being experienced in the pure chitta. That is bhajan. Not like we said yesterday. Prabhupada said bhajan is not going into the forest at night and shooting arrows here and there in the dark hoping to hit something. Sambandha Gyan is darshan, and the abhideya, the process, is also darshan. But in the abhideya stage, that darshan is the reflection of the Supreme Lord in your chitta. It's not a direct experience. It is the abhas, or reflection of the Lord in the chitta, the pratibimba. So this has been explained by Lord Shiva. You know, when Lord Shiva went to the Daksha Yagya, Daksha Maharaj came, everyone stood up and they gave pranams to him, but Lord Shiva didn't give pranam. Daksha became furious. Ah, what are you doing? I'm your father-in-law. You married my daughter, Sati. I'm your father-in-law. You have to respect me. Why are you not respecting? And he gave a curse, and there was chaos, as you remember, the Daksha Yagya. So afterwards, Lord Shiva explained to Parvati why is it that Lord Shiva did not give pranams to Daksha Maharaj?
Because he was in trance.
You know?
He was in trance.
Yeah, because he was in trance. He didn't even see him coming. He was in trance, and in his trance he was seeing the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Now, when Daksha comes into that assembly, the real reason everyone pays pranam to him is what? Because we give respect to everyone because the Lord is in their heart. This is why. The respect. If someone bows down to you, we should not say, yes, it's very good, he's respecting me. No, that is not Vedic culture. Vedic culture is, what respect is given to me, that is not to me, that is to God in my heart. And I am respecting God in your heart. So, because Lord Shiva was already seeing the Supreme Lord in his trance and serving him and bowing down to him, he did not have to do anything extra to again bow down to him in the heart of Daksha, because he was already serving the Lord in his heart. And he was not aware of the arrival of Daksha. So Lord Shiva described this to Parvati. He said, Satvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadiyate Tatra Pumam Apavrtaha. In the state of Vasudev. Vasudev means Vishuddha Sattva. That is the stage of Bhav. The Supreme Lord is experienced Puman Apavrita, uncovered. In other words, directly. So Jiva Goswami Pad raises this question. If Lord Shiva said that when you come to the stage of Bhav, you can experience the Lord uncovered, then it must mean that before the stage of Bhav, you can experience the Lord but in a covered way. Understand? Because there's no meaning. It's redundant to say to experience the Lord uncovered, because if you were covered and you didn't experience Him, then there would be no experience at all. So when he says you experience the Lord uncovered, that means there must be a way you can experience Him with some type of covering. So Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said, when the chitta is very high in sattva gun and very steady, then you can experience the abhas, the reflection of the Lord in your chitta, and serve Him there. And by being absorbed in that, then your ruchi and asakti, then it turns into bhav, and then the chitta melts. Right? What's the definition of bhav? Definition of bhav? Shuddha, sattva, visheshatma, prema suryangsu samyabhak. It is the essence of Samvita Ladini shining from the sun of Prem, of the eternal associates. And when it touches the heart, then what happens? Ruchi bis chitta masrinya. The chitta, masrinya, melts with so many types of tastes, so many types of abhilas, service desires. That is called bhav. So before the state of bhav, you have darshan of the Lord. But how? The Bhagavat Bimba Grahitva, reflected in the purified chitta. And by serving Him there in the chitta, that chitta is upasana pitam. It is the place of upasana. By actually serving Him there in the purified chitta, then after some time, bhav will come and the chitta will melt, and there's then direct experience of the Lord. So, we are discussing the meaning of darshan, what it means to see the Lord in the different stages of bhakti on this subject of Gaudia darshan. Another definition of the chitta. Srila Vishwacharya Thakur, he calls the chitta the upalabdhi sthanam, the place of attainment of realization. So if you look at the levels of the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego, then chitta. As long as the ego is darkening our consciousness, with the ego and the mind and intelligence, we don't have realization. No. The upalabdhi sthan, the place of attainment, is that purified chitta. And that's why it's so important first. We have to hear and we have to chant Harinam continuously. Kirtaniya sada hari. Chant continuously. By chanting continuously, the mirror of the heart will be cleansed, and then the experience of the beautiful form of Vrindavan Bihari, Brajanda Nandan, Gopikanta, Radhanath Sri Krishna will manifest in the heart. Yeah. Now, so we were discussing what? Gaudia means real Gaudia. Agaudia, they're not Gaudia. Gaudia Bruva, they only say they're Gaudia. And with the Gaudia, they're practicing. But their practice is all wrong because they did not understand this Siddhanta. That the Manasik Seva, the internal service to the Lord, does not take place in the contaminated mind, intelligence and ego. It takes place in the Shuddha Antakaran, in the pure Chitta. This is why Srila Jiva Goswami Pad has said, Shuddha Antakaranas Chet Swaram Kuryat. Only when the Chitta has become cleansed by surrender to Guru, service to Guru and hearing chanting, only then can one take up the Smaranam. So the first Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. First we have to experience real hearing, realization through hearing, realization through Kirtan, and then when we focus internally on those spurtis, then that is called Smaranam. So those who don't understand this tattva, they become Vida Gaudia, corrupted Gaudia. They speak all the Shastra, but not according to Vidvat Rudibriti, and so their conception is corrupt. I want to touch a few more very beautiful ideas that Prabhupada is sharing here in Gaudiya Darshan. Srila Prabhupada speaks about, he wants to show the glories of the Gaudiyas. So we have discussed the material world, Oh, I tell one thing in regard to the material world. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur gives an example from the Upanishads. Sa yata shakuni sutrena prabadho. There is one vulture, and there's a post stuck in the ground, and the leg of the vulture is tied with a thread. There's a thread tied around the leg of the vulture, and then there's some length, and then the other end of the thread is tied around the post. So the vulture is sitting on the post, and he wants to be free. So he's jumping, and he tries to fly this way, but he flies only a few inches, and then is pulled back by the string. So he's flapping, and he flaps in this direction, and that direction, and this direction. In all directions, he's flapping and going here and there. And he does this for a long time, until finally becomes completely exhausted. And then what does he do? He accepts his situation and he sits on the post to which he is bound, to which he is tied. So, this is not a story. This is the truth of all souls in this world. That vulture, he wants swadhinata, independence. He wants to be free. And so he's flying here and there, trying to get freedom. Just like the conditioned souls in this world. One person thinks, oh, I'll be free if I work very hard and I can get the sense gratification I want. If only I can get this very good sense gratification, very delicious things, very nice husband and wife, very nice car and house. If I can get all of these things, I can enjoy as I like. I can go on holiday to the Maldives. If I can get all of these things, then I'll be free, I'll be happy. Another person, they're not so concerned about that. They want political freedom. If we can just get free from whatever, the Democrat Party, or the Republican Party, or whatever. They say, if we can get political freedom, then we'll be free. Then other persons think, oh, this world, there's no freedom in this world, everything is suffering. I'm going to go and worship the Kali, Durga, and other devatas, and get my happiness by this, and I'll do yagas and I'll go to heaven, and I'll be free in the next life. After I'm dead, I'll be free in the next life. Another person thinks, no, there's no happiness here or in heaven, because in heaven also, when your good karma has run out, your sukriti, your punya is finished, then you have to come back to earth again. So another person, no, I'll be free when I get nirvana. When my soul enters into Brahman and I realize the oneness, then I'll be free. So all of these ideas, Prabhupada said, this is called Jad Bhog Mai Swadhinata. It is an idea of independence, but based on Jad Bhog. Jad Bhog. Jad means inert, lifeless material energy. Bhog means enjoyment. Either the person is trying to enjoy the dead material energy, or those who want liberation, they just want to get out of the dead material energy. So it doesn't matter whether it's a person wanting to enjoy the world or get out of the material world. All of their ideas of freedom are based on this enjoyment of dead matter. Jad Bhog Mai Swadhinata. And this is why the analogy is given of a vulture. Why? Because a vulture, when he's flying in the sky, he's just looking around to see if someone has died. And if he sees something that's dead, then he comes down to eat it. Right? That's what a vulture does. So actually all the objects of this world, they're all jad, they're dead, they're insensitive, they're not conscious. Like in the spiritual world, everything is pure and conscious. So the living beings, their idea of freedom is based on either tasting, accepting, exploiting, or rejecting of the dead things of this world only. In this way, we are like that vulture, trying to get free all the time. There's another reason why we're like that vulture, which is very profound. That is this. The Atma, when we're in deep sleep, the Atma enters into Paramatma during deep sleep, in the Anahata Chakra, in the heart. And then, when we start to dream, the Atma rises up to the throat chakra, Vishuddhi Chakra. And then when we awake, the Atma rises up to the level of the eyes. Then when we fall asleep, that's why we call it falling, because we fall. Soul is going down, back to the throat in dreaming, and then back into Paramatma like this. So, there's one mantra in the Vedas, it says, we left the Lord, but we did not know that we have left the Lord. And it's a description of this process of coming out of deep sleep, into dream and into the waking state and back again. So that's what we're doing. Right? That's what we're doing all the time. But why do we oscillate through these three states? Because we want the independence, independent enjoyment. So, but we cannot get away, we always have to come back. Because we're tied to the Supreme Lord. Atma is part of Paramatma. So just as the vulture is trying to fly again and again, but always coming back, and in the end he's exhausted and he gives up and he just stays there. So in the same way, when the living being becomes exhausted, coming out into external consciousness again and again, trying to taste the world, he becomes fully exhausted, like Gajendra the elephant, and surrenders. Oh my Lord, I surrender to you. Then that time, just like the vulture sits on the post and stays there and accepts his bondage, then the living entity accepts his prema bandhana. He accepts, I am bound in love with the Supreme Lord. And this is the highest swadhinata. This is actually the independence that we are looking for. The highest independence is that the Supreme Lord is independent, and if we're in His shelter, then bondage to Him is the greatest freedom. The prema bandhana is the greatest freedom. But until we accept that, we'll keep like this, like vultures trying to escape and fly here and there. Very beautiful example from the Upanishads. So, if one takes shelter of the Lord, we have discussed there are different levels. There is Aishwarya of Vaikuntha, and beyond that there is the Madhurya of Vrindavan. But in Vrindavan there are different rasas. So Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. Shanta Ras is in a dormant position in Braj. So from Dasya there is servitude, being the servant of the Lord. Then higher than that, having all the qualities of Dasya. Dasya has Krishna Nishta, being fixed on Krishna. Trishna Tyag, giving up everything else. It has Mamata, possessiveness. It has Seva. All these things are there in Dasya Ras. But all those things are also there in Sakya, plus Vishramba. Samabhav, the feeling of equality. I am equal with Krishna, I am his friend. So the Sakya is higher. And Vatsalya is even higher. Vatsalya Ras includes all of those ingredients, plus Palan Poshan. I have to nourish him, I have to take care of him. And Taranabartsan. He does not know what's good for him. Sometimes I also have to rebuke him and chastise him as well. These are the added ingredients of the parental mood, Vatsalya Rasa. So Srila Prabhupada, he gives a very beautiful description why the Vatsalya Rasa of being the parent of God is better than seeing God as your father. You know? Just like in many religions they see God is the father and you are the child. But in Vaishnavism, there's the other way around. You can become the not directly Krishna's father, but you can have the fatherly mood or motherly mood to him, Vatsalya Rasa. So that is superior. Why is that? Because the child is basically exploiting the parents. Right? This is in Sanskrit, this is called Dohan Kriha. Dohan Kriha. The activity of milking. Right? The baby is born day and night, the parents are serving the baby. When the baby is hungry, drinks the mother's blood. Right? The mother has to eat so much and it turns into blood, then the blood turns to milk and the baby drinks it. So this is called Dohan Kriya. Baby's taking, exploiting completely. And then when the baby grows up, even there's no guarantee that the child will serve the parents. Right? I graduated now, bye mom. I'm going to wherever, Dubai. Yeah. And go somewhere else. Like then they don't serve the parents. Like this. So to the relationship of that God is my parent is like a dominancry, exploiting relation. But the opposite, when a person becomes in the Vatsalya Ras, following the moods of Mother Yashoda, then now Krishna does the Dohan Kriya to you. Right? The parents, they serve the child even before the child is born. Right? Parents think, we're going to make a house and collect so much money and everything so we can afford to have children. They think they're decorating the baby's room and buying the beds and the toys and everything. They do so much service before the baby's even born. Then as soon as he's born, they're serving all the time, and the child is exploiting. So like this, the Vatsalya Rasa is better than being the other way around. That God is your father, or better you are the father or mother towards him, and then Krishna is exploiting. Krishna is exploiting Mother Yashoda. Oh, he's drinking her milk, or he's making her cry, or he's making her worried and running around here and there. What's he doing? And Krishna is enjoying. So here, because Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, that's his position. And the more he exploits the living entity, the more happiness the living entity feels. Not like in this world, if we're exploited, it's kind of, we become bitter. But in the spiritual world, because the pleasure of the Bhakti to Krishna, pleasing him, is done by Ladini Shakti. So then the more you please him, the more happiness you feel. Yasmin tushte jagat tushta. When Krishna is pleased, the whole world is pleased. Or in the words of Prahlad Maharaj says, Naivatmano Prabhurayam Nijalabha Purna Manam Janada Vidusha Karano Vrinite Yad Jano Bhagavate Vedadita Manam Tatschat Mane Pratimukasya Yata Mukasya. Lord Nishingadev said, Oh my Lord, you accept the service of the conditioned souls in this world not for your own benefit. Naivatmana Prabhuram Nijalabha. Oh my Lord, you don't accept the service of the living entities in this world, Nijalabha, for your own benefit. Why? Nijalabha Purna. Because you are complete. God is complete. He does not require anything. He's Atmaram, self-satisfied. Then why does he tell us you should serve me? Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. You should serve me. Why? Why does he say that? Why? Because manam janada vidusha karno brinite. This is his mercy, that he gives us a chance to serve. Because whatever we do in the service of Krishna, that the benefit actually comes to us. So he gives the example, Tatschatmane pratimukasya mukasvi. Means that if there's a mirror, and you see your reflection of your face in the mirror, and you want to make that reflection beautiful, then what do? You cannot take the kajal and put the makeup on the reflection. Will it make the reflection more beautiful if you decorate it? No. If you decorate your face, automatically the reflection becomes beautiful. So in this example, our soul is like the reflection, God's reflection, His answer, and He is the origin. So when the Supreme Lord is decorated and made beautiful, then we automatically look beautiful. You can see if there's a devotee serving and pleasing Krishna, the devotee is very attractive, very beautiful. All the great qualities come in that devotee. Why? Because he's decorating Krishna and making Krishna beautiful, so devotee becomes beautiful. Because he's serving Krishna, the qualities of Krishna are coming in the devotee. So when Krishna exploits his devotee, it's not for his benefit. It gives the greatest joy to the devotee. Therefore, this Vatsalya Rasa, seeing that Krishna is the child and the devotee is the parent, and he's doing Dohan Kriya, exploiting the parents, this is superior than seeing God is your father. Very wonderful. Now, why is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur explaining this? Because Gaudiyas follow Madhurya Rasa. Right? Madhurya Rasa. So then he takes this example that just as Krishna is doing Dohan Kriya. He's exploiting his mother for her Ananda in Vatsalya Rasa. So in Madhurya Rasa, that is the fullest extent of the Dohan Kriya. Krishna is exploiting the gopis more than Madhya Yashoda or anyone. He is exploiting the gopis and Radhika to the maximum amount. Yoga Maya makes them married to others. They have to sacrifice everything. They have to sacrifice their happiness in this life and the next, their reputation, everything. And they serve Krishna with all their body, their entire body, all of their senses from head to toe and all of their beauty they're serving Krishna. So Krishna is doing maximum Dohan Kriya, exploitation of Braja Gopis. Therefore this Madhurya Rasa is the Paramananda. Highest doing. Did you ever hear Katha like this before? No. That's because you were not there in 1929. In the Albert Hall in Calcutta on August the 11th. You were not sitting in the audience on that day, that's why. But Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is very, very merciful. And his Katha is still flowing on today now. That you can hear. This, really. I remember the first time when I heard this, I thought that this is the greatest lecture I ever heard in my life. In this day of Lord Brahma, I never heard such a wonderful lecture. So Prabhupada is very amazing. It's important. We should hear about the life of Srila Prabhupada. But don't neglect the actual words of Srila Prabhupada. Right? Many persons say how he was born with the umbilical cord like a Brahmin thread, all of these things. But more important is his Vani. Right? His actual Vani. What did he say? Very deep, very powerful, very transformative. So, in Madhurya Rasa, that is the highest platform. So the Gaudiyas are there in Madhurya Rasa. Then he said, what is this Gaudia Darshan? He said Gaudia Darshan means that the Vishay Tattva is outside and inside the Ashray Tattva. The Ashray Tattva means the devotee. And when the devotee is in that state, when the Vishay Tattva is inside and outside, then, this is Gaudiya Darshan. Just like we have already told the Sambandha Gyan from the Chatusloki Bhagavatam, the first verse. But the Prayojan Tattva is in the third verse of Chatusloki Bhagavatam. What is that? Do you know? Anyone know Chatusloki?
I know the English.
There are 18,000 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, but in chapter 9 of the second canto there are 4 verses. This is the original. All the verses come from this. So if you learn these 4 verses, then you know the whole Bhagavatam. It's easier than learning 18,000 verses. So that is the seed of the whole Chatusloki Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam in 4 verses. So in the third verse, that is the Prayojan Tattva. He said, Yata mahanti bhutani bhuteshu vyateshvanu pravistani tatateshu nateshvanam. Krishna said, just as the elements enter into all beings and also exist outside of them, so in the same way, I am inside and outside of all beings. Now this sounds like some kind of discussion of ontology and metaphysics. But really, it is Prem Tattva, it is the Prayojan. Because when the heart is filled with Prem, then one sees Krishna Lila inside and outside. Both. Ama Bhakta Pramibandhya Che Hridaya Vitare Yahanatra Pari Tahan Dekai Amare. See, Krishna said, my pure devotee has bound me up with the rope of love in his heart, and wherever his eyes fall, inside or outside, and wherever he looks, he sees this my spurti everywhere. So this is Gaudiya Darshan, the vision of Gaudiyas. He gives another example. Visrijati hridayam nayasya sakshat harira avasa vihitopya golganasha pranaya rasayana ditat nripatma sa bhavati bhagavata pradana ukta. The Supreme Lord is so powerful that if someone is trapped in the complicated mesh of this birth and death, and even in a helpless condition, like they're falling off a cliff, and they say, "Oh Krishna," then that one name, only Namabhas, will liberate them from the bondage of material existence. Krishna is so powerful. Yet that Krishna himself, he is bound and he cannot get free, being tied up with the rope of love of the Mahabhagavat, Bhagavat Pradhan, the Mahabhagavat devotees. So how wonderful is that person? Only the Abhasa of his name can free everyone from this world, but he himself cannot break free from the love of his devotee. Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur gives another example. When Sri Krishna left the Rasa Leela, then the Braj Gopis were wandering here and there. Chuta, Pravala, Pasanasana, Kovidaya, Jambaka, Bilva, Baklamra, Kadamba, Nipa. They saw Krishna in their hearts, but outside, they could not see him. But they're looking and they're thinking that every living entity is alive and realizing Krishna and knows Krishna. So they're asking, "Oh, mango tree, have you seen Krishna? Oh, Kadamba tree, have you seen Krishna? Oh, Kovidara tree, have you seen Krishna? Bilva tree, have you seen Krishna?" Like this. So either seeing Krishna inside and out, or seeing one's own mood of praying in every other being. Sarva bhuteshu ya pasyat bhagavat bhava mana bhutani bharga atman esha bhagavatottama. The gopis, they love Krishna, but they think, "I have no love, everyone else has love." Just like in Venu Geets. Danyasma mudagati opi arinya eta yananda nanda upata vichitta vesha akana venu raitam sa Krishna sara pujam dadovi rachitam pranayava lokai. Radhika say, "Oh, look at these deer." They're no deer, she's in her home. But because Krishna has gone to the forest, out of attachment, in her heart, by bhav and netra, by the eyes of bhav, love, she thinks, "I'm in the forest with Krishna," and sees some deer, and Krishna's playing his flute. And the female deer are leaving their husbands and leaving their shyness and approaching Krishna. And the husbands are following behind the female deer also. And gopis say, "Oh," Radhika says, "Oh, this deer is very fortunate." Why? This deer has love, really has love for Krishna. Because this deer is by Dharma. Its Dharma is to be very shy. If a human being comes, they run away. But she gave up her Dharma and went to Krishna, and husband is following. But look at me, I cannot give up my Dharma. If my husband sees me leaving, he'll follow me with a stick and bring me back and beat me. But these deer are so fortunate. When she's describing the deer, the trees, the cows, the birds, she's thinking, "I have no love, but they all have love." She sees her own love in every moving and non-moving being. So this is the meaning, Gaudia Darshan. That for the Ashray Tattva, the Vishay Tattva is inside and outside everywhere. In a more higher state even, Krishna sent a letter to the gopis telling them, "Oh my dear gopis," and he told this saying, "Yatha mahanti bhutani," the elements are inside and out, and so am I. Gopis said, "What kind of love letter is this?" Sounds like a Vedanta philosophy. Why is he saying this? But then afterwards they realized, oh, outside we're seeing Krishna's Prakat Leela, and inside we are seeing Krishna's Aprakat Leela. In Goloka Vrindavan, we are always with him. This is Gaudiya Darshan. So then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, "Oh, more. This is not fully Gaudiya Darshan, there's more." When the chitta vrittis, the absorption in loving service for Krishna, it completely fills the mind. That takes place in the state of Ruddha Bhav. Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag, Anurag, Mahabhav, Ruddha, Adhiruddha, like this. So when the stage of Ruddha Bhav comes, at that time, all the vrittis in the mind is just of the nature of Mahabhav for Krishna, and it overflows from the mind because all the chitta vrittis are pran So the pran overflows from the mind into the body. And when the pran carrying the Mahabhav overflows into the spiritual body, then the Sattvic Bhavs manifest. 5, 6, 7 or 8 Sattvic Bhavs, trembling, hair standing on end, becoming stunned, the fading of the color, the choking of the voice. So the 5, 6, 7 or 8 Sattvic Bhavs, that means Udipta or Sudipta Bhav comes, and it is called Prakashita. So this is only in Mahabhav, this state, when the whole body becomes illuminated, because the Mahabhav which was in the mind is now completely taken over all the prana and senses, and now the body itself becomes the non-different from Mahabhav. So that is called the Mahabhav Swarup. You know, Krishna, he is not interested in sense gratification, he is not kami. Krishna is premi, he only wants to taste love. So, Krishna is stealing butter. Why? Because of the love of the elderly gopis who are making the butter. He's coming and tasting their love. But for the Braja gopis, the love in their chitta has overflowed, and now their whole bodies are made of Mahabhav. And this is why Krishna has the amorous pastimes. You understand? He's not lusty. He's not kami, he's premi. But the gopis themselves have become the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita, Bhavita, completely one with the nature of Mahabhav. This only happens in gopis. It never happens for the queens of Dwarka. Just for comparison, Vishnacharya Thakur said, the queens of Dwarka, their mind never even becomes completely one with Prem, what to speak of Sneha, Man, Pranaya or anything. But for the gopis, Varamrita Sarupa Sri Swasarupa Manonayat. Every chitta vritti becomes infused with Mahabhav and it overflows and their bodies become shining. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, shining. And that Mahabhav also emanates from them and begins to affect all the trees and flowers and creepers and birds and everything. And if the Manjaris are watching Radhika, then it will also affect them and they'll be pervaded by that. That's called Yavadashray Vritti. The power of Radharani's love comes in waves. And the Manjaris are just completely saturated, vyapt, from head to toe, in the waves of Radharani's love. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, when the chitta vrittis which are in the mind become visible fully in the body, that is called Sarvangin Bhav. Then when one sees Krishna, Radha Krishna, or Radha Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, oh, then that is called Gaudia Darshan. Huh? You see, this is why he is hesitant to say, I am a Gaudia, I am a Gaudia. See, even my Gurudev would not say, I am Gaudia. Because those who understand what it means to be Gaudia, Gaudia Gaurav, the Gaurav, the importance, the stature, the status, the pride of the Gaudias, those who know that is, oh no, I am not Gaudia. I want to be Das and Das and Das of the Gaudias. Very amazing. Now 6:30, 3.5 hours. You can hear something more? I should have finished here.
Yes, please.
Yeah? Something?
Yeah.
I want to tell a few nice pastimes of Srila Prabhupada now. Because his life illustrates. If you hear the philosophy, his Vani, then you can understand really what is there in his life. If you only hear about the life story, but you don't hear his Vani, it's very hard to understand what's the significance of his life. One day, it was Gaura Purnima, the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Mayapur. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur came there and he said, oh, Jayadev Goswami, in the first verse of Geet Govinda, has glorified Gaura Purnima, the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Well, how is it possible? Jayadev Goswami is writing in the 11th century. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the 15th century. No one ever said it before. But because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, when he hears something, when he reads something, he takes the Vidvat Rudibriti. So then he experiences the divine reality and many, many mysteries that an ordinary person cannot experience. He is reading and he's understanding according to the Mukta Pragrahavriti. Mukta Pragrahavriti means the interpretation of free reign. Mukta Pragraha, free reign. Just like if there's a post in the ground, no vultures this time. There's a post in the ground and there's a cow tied with a rope, with a long rope to that post. So then that cow, it can eat the grass in the area, the radius of which is the length of that rope. So it can eat in a big circle, but only within the length of the radius of that rope. So in the same way, an ordinary person, when they read something, then they can understand it, but only within the short compass of their own material intelligence, and not further than that. But when a person, just like if you cut the rope, then the cow is not limited anymore, and the cow can wander very far away and eat the grass. It can go to Vrindavan and eat the grass on the bank of Jamuna. The cow may even wander all the way to the bank of Radhakund. So in the same way, when a person is mukta, liberated, mukta purush, then they are not limited to the ordinary type of interpretation of conditioned souls, but rather they will see in everything the highest and most profound meaning. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pasyanti Suraya. The sages see the supreme abode of Vishnu. But the Gaudiyas will say, the pure Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they see the Parampadam, the supreme abode, that means Radhakund. Of Vishnu, yes. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnos Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata is written in the Padma Purana. Just as Radhika is dear to Vishnu, so is Radhika's Kund as dear to Vishnu. So Krishna, who is playing with the Braj Gopis in Radha Kund? Vishnu. Vishnu means Vyapnotiti Vishnu, who is everywhere. So Krishna has many, many forms to meet with all the Sakhis at the same time, so he's Vishnu, he's everywhere. So like this, what an ordinary person may interpret in Aishwarya Bhav, but then the advanced liberated devotee who is full of rasa, he will see the same thing and it will take him to Vrindavan and even to Govardhan and to Radhakund. So in that way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was relishing the first verse of Geet Govinda. Megai medaramambaram vanabhuva shamastamala drumai naktam viduruham tameva tamadidam radhi griham prapaya itam nandanijeshatas chalitayo pratvatra kunjatumam radha madhavayor jayanti yamuna kuleiraha kelaya. In this first verse, Jayadeva Goswami is saying, Megara Maduramang Baram. The dark rain clouds are covering the sky. Jayadeva Goswami is writing, but who's speaking? One Sakhi is speaking. The Ras Leela is going on. Krishna is singing, dancing. There are many gopis here and there. The moonlight was shining, illuminating the forest. But just then, some dark rain clouds covered the moon, making the forest fall into darkness. Megayar Medaramambaram Vanabhuvahashamastamatamadrumai. And there was a dense forest of tamal trees, which tamal trees are very dark as well. And so it was very shady and pitch black there when the moon was covered by the rain clouds. So by this, the Sakhi is because Brijbasis, they never speak in a straightforward way. That Saki is saying, oh, Radhika, look, now, just for a moment, the forest has been put into complete darkness. So, if you catch Krishna by the hand and pull him into that dark kunj there, then when the clouds move, everyone will look around and he's gone and no one will know what happened. So, Nattam Viroyam Tvamiva Tadidam Rati Griham Prapaya. O Saki, Radhika, Krishna is afraid. Why is he afraid? Because he had been dancing with other gopis, and when you came to meet with him, then you said, oh, Bahu Valabha Priya. Bahu Valabha Priya. You are very dear to many, many beloveds. And by saying this, Krishna thought, oh, Radhika is in mind, she will not accept me. She will not accept me this evening. So Krishna is full of fear. You have struck fear into his heart. So now you have made him go down to the bottom of depression, and the dark cloud has come and everything became dark. You should quickly catch him by the hand. Radhi Griyam Prapaya, and take him through the darkness to the Kunja Griha. Itam Nanda Nijesatas Chalitayo Pratwadya Kunja Drumam. Then Radhika took Krishna by the hand, and from the lowest depression he went to the peak of joy. And Radhika led him through the path and into the Kunj. Radha Madhavayor Jayanti Yamuna Kule Rahakeleya. Jayanti, oh glories to the Rahakeli, the secret pastimes of Radha and Madhav on the bank of the Jamuna. What does it mean? All victory. That means after Radha Krishna have enjoyed together and both are perspiring, then on the bank of Jamuna there's such a breeze. In the forest there's a little breeze, but on the bank of the Jamuna it's more fresh. And so when the fresh breeze touches the Jugal Kishore, when they became tired from playing, then it's very refreshing, and that is the complete victory of Radha Krishna's secret pastimes. So Jayadeva Goswami has described this. But our Prabhupada Bhakti Thakur, when he was reading this, because it was Gorpanim, so he was seeing Gorpanim everywhere. Jayadeva Goswami has discussed the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. Now the same verse again, but each word will explain related to Mahaprabhu. Megai Maduramambaram. In the Kali Yuga, the dark clouds of the Apasiddhanta and all different types of atheistic theories, they spread everywhere. And because of that, Shamastamala Dhumam, even though Goloka Vrindavan is filled with the most beautiful Kalpa Vriksha, wish-fulfilling desire trees, but the people of the world, they are not attracted to the prospect of that Goloka Vrindavan, because they're covered by the dark clouds of the ignorance in Kali Yuga and so many atheistic theories. Nattam Biruam, in this time of Kali Yuga, which is like night, Krishna is afraid. Why? Because previously when Krishna appeared, he said, Sarva Dharmam Prityaja Mamekam Mishanam Braja. Give up all varieties of dharma related to the body and mind and surrender only to me. And see, Krishna said, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. I am the enjoyer of all sacrifice. I am the Lord of all sacrifice. So in the previous age, when people heard this, then they understood. Out of false ego, I had Bhogya Darshan. I was looking at Bhogya Darshan means seeing that everything is for my pleasure. This is the condition of material life. We look around the world and the eyes are trying to measure everything. How much can I enjoy it? How can I taste it? How can I smell it? How can I see it? How sweet is it? How salty is it? How crunchy is it? The eyes are looking everywhere and measuring. Miyate anaya iti maya. By which you measure, that is called maya. So trying to measure, trying to taste, the Bogya Darshan. This is the conditioned existence. So when Krishna says, Aham I sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhureva cha, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifice. Previously the living entities could understand, oh, this is why I'm suffering. This is why I'm trapped in the world. I was thinking I am the enjoyer of everything. But Krishna is the enjoyer. And everything, including my soul, exists only for his enjoyment. They could understand that before. But now, Naktam Biruham, in this Kali Yuga, it is a dark night. And Krishna is afraid to come to this world in the form of Krishna and say, surrender to me, I am the enjoyer of everything. Because people are so demonic. If Krishna will say, I am the enjoyer, they'll say, why are you the enjoyer? I am the enjoyer. What are you? Are you a fascist dictator? You will dominate us? No. We will enjoy. We will enjoy. We will democratically enjoy. We should vote on it. Why should you be the only supreme autocratic monarch? They cannot take it. They want themselves to be the enjoyer. This is demonic. The spirit of enjoyment is demonic. But it is manifest in the spirit of envy. If Krishna says, actually, I am the enjoyer, that's my ontological position in reality. It's just a fact. But they cannot take it. No. Why should God enjoy? Why should God have 16,108 queens in Dwarka? Shatakoti Gopi. Why should Krishna have billions of gopis? No, we don't accept it. There's opposition to Krishna's enjoyment. This is the demonic mentality. Understand? We have to give it up. It has to be removed from our heart completely. Krishna is enjoyer, we are to be enjoyed. That is the supreme, the swadhinata, independence of us, prem bandhana, to be the slave of Krishna, to be fully dohan kriya of Krishna, fully exploited by him. That is the greatest happiness. But no. We want to exploit ourselves. We want to exploit things for ourselves. Because this is a mentality, especially in Kali Yuga, very demonic. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said here, Naktam Biram, during this night of Kali Yuga, when the path of bhakti is covered, people are not attracted to the beauty of the spiritual world, then at that time, Krishna is afraid. He cannot tell them, I am the enjoyer, surrender to me. And therefore he has to hide. Radhe Griham Prapaya. Oh Krishna, go with Radharani and together appear in the Griha of Jagannath Mishra in the Yoga Pit in Mayapur Dham. So Krishna being shy, he did not appear and say surrender to me. Krishna has appeared in a hidden way by combining together secretly with Radharani and appearing in Mayapur Dham. And then he is very humble and say, no, don't surrender to me, surrender to him. Surrender to Krishna, not to me, to Krishna. I'll show you how to do it myself. Who will follow you if you don't do something yourself? We have to practice ourselves. Otherwise no one will follow what we say. So Krishna is the same. He thought, if I tell them surrender to me, they won't do it. Because I have not done it myself. So he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and tells everyone, surrender to Krishna. So, Itam Nanda Nijaysi Chastalitaya Pratvacha Kunja Dramam. See, Krishna appeared in Navadvip Dham. Radha Madhavayo Janti Yamanaku Le Raha Kelya. Now the Jamuna has become one with Ganga. Right? Because in Prayag, Ganga and Jamuna, they mix together and then they go to Navadvip Dham, and Radha Krishna have appeared there in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Ganga has been united with the Jamuna. Raha Kelaya, all glories to the Raha Keli, the secret pastime of Radha and Krishna. Gaura Leela is the secret pastime of Radha Madhav. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahiyanya. And what is this secret pastime? Harinam Sankirtan. So Radha Madhava Yojayanti, all glories to the secret pastime of Radha Madhav means Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. That means may all the ignorant misconceptions and false atheistic theories of the world be burned to ashes in the fire of Harinam Sankirtan. And may all the minds of every living entity in the world be fuel in the fire of praying for Radha Madhav in his confidential form of Sachinandan Gohari, in his Prem Nam Sankirtan Rasa, Maha Sankirtan Rasa. Gaur Premanande. So this is how Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, when he's reading the Shastra, so many profound and beautiful realizations are coming, and he was sharing them with his disciples. Yeah. So now, is the Pujari here? Yes? So I request everyone, the book table is also over there on that side. Please make sure you take a copy, because we're leaving tomorrow, so everyone take 5 or 6 copies for yourself and all your friends and family members, so they can avail themselves of the shelter of the Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's Shuddhavani. You know, in his pranam mantra, it is said, Gauravani Murti. He is the embodiment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. Yeah. So if the Pujari can begin the arti, will sing.
Can you tell them to empty the table, please? So that we don't take to North Carolina.
Everyone has for dinner today, have some free will. Independence.
You have to empty it.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, oh Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Tomorrow I'm going to North Carolina. So if anyone wants to come, please come. It's very close by. A few miles down the road, North Carolina. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. Festival there. Everyone, please come for Brajmanda Parikrama. Also, in the month of Kartik, please come in. We invite you to spend 1 month with us in Vrindavan. and do Patwanga Parikrama Kartik this year. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.